What's good, family? So smash that like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. We got some breaking news right now. Your man's Tyson Fury is now saying there's a 50-50 chance he will vacate the WBC belt, not to fight Dillian, the body stature, Whyte. Yeah? Now, I'm going to give you my exclusive quotes here from a Team Fury representative. He said the following: "If we can't come to a deal with Dillian Whyte, we'll do a fight for the Ring Magazine belt and the lineal title, and we'll pick another opponent. We've got to get Tyson Fury back in the ring by the end of March. Fish Eyes Warren and I, Bob Arum, are determined to come to him with an opponent that's acceptable, and we'd love him to do that fight in Cardiff. Andy Ruiz Jr. is a possibility. Joseph Parker, I see had a good victory over Derek Chisora. That could also be a possibility. And we're looking at a couple of other names that might be appropriate." Wow! And essentially, WBC responded to this and said that obviously, if that's the case, yeah, you're not going to be doing it with this belt because of Dillian's litigation. Normally, people, this would have slid because it happened before. Yeah, Dillian Whyte was mandated to fight Wilder. Wilder didn't want to fight Dillian, so he ended up fighting Dominic Brazil, and Dillian got sidemanned. This was way back when, I think 2019. So, because of Dillian's legal whatever, too little too late really, but either way, that's why Fury can't just slide off and do what he wants to do, as they've been doing as WBC champion. And it's a shame really, because for the last God knows how many weeks, 2-3 weeks now, Tyson Fury's always been saying, oh, if it's Dillian, if this, if that. And in fact, it's funny because some fruity Fury fans tell me that, oh, YB, oh, that's not Fury saying that, but what do we know about Fury? What has Fury always been saying recently? I don't handle the business. Oops. So speak to my team. Well, if that's the case, that you don't handle your business, I'd believe him. Well, tell a lie, not tell a lie. I don't believe him. I believe he driving the business. However, I've explained and exposed this shadowy Fury cabal. How it works is, Fury, the reason you hear Fury handing off the decisions is why. Because he's clocked on. Smart business move, to be fair to him. He's clocked on now that why take the brunt of things? Think about it. If Fury takes all the responsibility himself and this fight doesn't happen and he vacates, what does that mean? That means he's a blatant duck. That means he has all the responsibility. However, if he can say, oh, I don't know what's going on, it's Frank and Bob, I'm a fighter. I just like to knock people out. Even though I'm scared to knock Dillian Whyte out for some alleged reason. Yeah? But that's what he'll say, and obviously the Fury fans will lap it up. Oh, it's Frank. Oh, it's Bob. And no. The buck stops with Tyson Fury. As much as he wants to set the scene, as he's been doing, and many dopey fans have brought it up. Oh yeah, he don't do his business and whatnot. Come on, man, get serious. But again, the fact that Fury's been saying that for the last few weeks, it's not a good sign. That shows... Well, it's all kind of making sense now. It makes sense why Fury was telling us, oh, don't make no decisions in business. Because obviously he's setting himself up for a bad decision to be made where he can say, it's the business side of things and, if Bob and Frank Warren. So it's all perfectly lining up now, I'm afraid to say, people. Let's get something straight here. Fury's never actually come out and said, Dillian, and I've been saying this. That's why I've been kind of half cringing about what's been going on recently. Everywhere you look, there's some weirdness going on. You got Tyson Fury going round for dinner with Deontay Wilder. You got Tyson Fury nibbling on Usyk's ear. Now you got Tyson Fury not wanting to fully commit to Dillian Whyte. You might know me that I judge people on a case-by-case basis. And after Fury beat Deontay Wilder, I give him full credit. And he was obviously in my good books. I've always said this. You're only as really good as your last big thing that's gone on, if that makes sense. Yeah? And I'm not someone who holds a grudge. If you correct yourself and fix up, fair play to you. Tyson Fury, to some extent, fixed up and corrected himself. He went in there and did what he said he was going to do, which in 2021, with people like Anthony Johnston lying to the fans and getting the fans bumped by William Hills, that goes a long way for me. But then, the next thing you know, this was really simple. Again, I don't understand what goes on in Tyson Fury's head, because I actually believe, to some extent, he is trying to duck Dillian Whyte. Why do I believe this? Well, let's not forget, people. Just because Tyson Fury absolutely smoked Deontay Wilder's boots for him, it doesn't take away from the fact or change the history of what went on there. Don't forget, people. As illogical as it was, what do we know about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder only had that fight because he had to go to court. Yeah? So, the Wilder fight didn't happen because Tyson Fury said, yep, I want to go on Wilder. No, he was trying to be funny style with that fight and fight a bum instead. I think Tyson Fury has a deep affinity and or an addiction to fighting complete bums. That's the only thing I can work out, because, so where do I get that from? What do we know? When Tyson Fury fights, when he came back, who did he fight? He fought Panini and some other dude. There was 2 fights. Yeah. Did you, man, hear about any reschedulings or any contract? Did you hear about Panini or the other one having to make him go to court to fight? I didn't. In fact, I think he had 2 fights in 1 month. Oops. My man, who has 1 fight every 2 years because he spends half his time in court trying not to fight, has 2 fights in a month. Well, that's interesting. But you know what? Maybe that was pure chance. Fighting bum. Maybe it's pure chance that when he's fighting a bum, the contracts fly through at record speed. What else do we know? You know what? You are right. He came back and it was pure luck. Well, what about the next set of bums he fought? Wallin. I'm not saying Wallin's a bum, but come on, let's call a spade here. Wallin and the other dude, the German Don. Both of them 2. Oops. Both of them 2 fights. Again, I think he fought in the June and he fought in the September. 3 months. Went straight through. I didn't hear about no pullouts. I didn't hear about no court case. Went straight in and out. He loves it. He fiends to fight bums. But now all of a sudden, Dillian Whyte's been ordered. There's no other choices for him. And honestly, yeah, I wouldn't even mind if Team Fury was saying here. I mean, you've heard Bob Arum say that, we're looking at Joseph Parker and we're looking at Ruiz. I honestly would have a lot more respect if they were saying, listen, it's Usyk or Dillian Whyte. Even though for me personally, I'd rather them just say it's Dillian Whyte. But, you know, I'd respect that. If he was saying, listen, Dillian, you're going to get it at some point. But for now, I want Usyk if I can, because undisputed supersedes mandatories. But you best believe, Dillian, once I got all 4 belts, we can run it then. If Tyson Fury was saying that, I'm all for it. Because that shows me that he's not bothered either way. But the fact that he's never really fully committed to Dillian Whyte, has he? I mean, he was talking to Michelle Joy Phelps, a.k.a. Michelle the Fire Phelps. Damn, she fire. How old is she, 40-year-old? I'm telling you now, Michelle the Fire Phelps is one of the most fire 40-year-old going. Yeah, super tick in the back as well. Damn. But anyway, what was I saying? He was talking to Michelle the 40-year-old Fire Phelps. And, what was it? I gassed the place up too much. I forgot what I was saying now. That was it, about the mandatory. And she said, Michelle, the 40-year-old Fire Phelps said, he's your mandatory now. And then he said, but he hasn't been my mandatory for that long. Not my mandatory. Almost implying that, don't rush me to fight him now. He's only just turned my mandatory now, if that makes sense. Because think about it. If you was planning on pushing Dillian Whyte's wig back ASAP, you'd say, listen, even if it has been 10 months, yeah? Even if Dillian Whyte has been ducked for 3 years, guess what? Dad is home. Yeah, that's what I'll be saying. I'll be saying, listen, you're right. Deontay Wilder and whoever else had this belt was ducking Dillian. But guess what? Yeah, Daddy here now to handle the business and wipe some bums for him. Yeah, don't worry, Dillian, crying. Daddy home now to wipe that big greasy bum for you. Yeah, I know you've been in that nappy. I know you've been in that nappy. Deontay Wilder put you in for 3 years. It's all stinky and dirty. Don't worry. Pappy here now to wipe that big greasy bottom for you. Yeah? I'm gonna wipe it all up. Get you nice and clean, ready for bed. I'm gonna tuck you in as well. That's what you should be saying. Not, oh well, oh, you know, oh, not my mandatory. No, oh, you know well. What's wrong with these guys, man? They're funny style. You know, I'm getting to the point, yeah. I'll tell you, listen. I'm getting to the point where I'm fixing to explode on one of these dudes. Yeah? I'm getting sick to death of this weird, zesty behaviour. Sick of it. Every week, and honestly, again, I was looking forward to it, and you man probably sensed it. When Fury beat Wilder, I thought, you know what, maybe we're getting over something here. But it's one step forward and one step back. There's no consistency in this sport, is there? You got a dude called Anthony Johnston who looks the part. No substance. Tyson Fury looks no good, but has some substance in the ring. But outside the ring, he's taking out lawsuits to not fight people. I've been said, yeah. Tyson Fury could have fought Wilder in July. Literally. Because they were litigating from July round to July again, a year. And no joke, if that fight had happened in July, we would have had AJ and Fury June of this year, 6 months ago. We'd be on the rematch now. Which in a way is good, because I guess Johnston didn't get murked by Fury. But either way, that's down the point here. But you know what I'm saying? All these things, it all adds up, people. And now it's not my mandatory, and I've never, don't get me wrong. I think for one video or one clip he said, Dillian, you're getting it, but I'm sorry, you man know me. I track behaviour, and I'd know if Tyson Fury was bang on it for Dillian Whyte, and I mean, never mind if he was, never mind behaviour. Your man Bob Arum's come out today, fresh off. This right here is a leak, truth be known. Yeah, I've just dropped this Bob Arum leak, Team Fury leak, telling you. Because think about it. Again, the Furies, I give them credit, they are very planned out. Yeah, don't forget this, people, they're planned out. I've told you about their narratives before. Where John Fury and everyone saying the same thing. Well, this is similar because this isn't Bob Arum, who's 90-year-old, by the way. This isn't Bob Arum just speculating. Oh, well, you know, he's saying he's already got people lined up. Joe Parker, Andy Ruiz is a possible. So they're already talking to these people. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's in the case of, we want Dillian, and let's get, and that's the thing. That's why I give Eddie Hearn respect. You very rarely hear Eddie Hearn, apart from, unless it comes to Conor Benn, yeah? Don't get me wrong. Eddie Hearn's not perfect, because Eddie Hearn be ducking with Conor Benn, yeah? Eddie Hearn, a.k.a. the old manslayer. Eddie Hearn's, I don't know what's going on here. Eddie Hearn's got a right hard on for any fighter who's shot to bits for Conor Benn. Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Adrian Broner. I'm like, damn, Eddie, you've got a proper hard on, ain't you, for old men in the game of boxing? What's wrong with you? Avanesian, that's the fight. For me, yeah, Fury and Dillian Whyte is like Conor Benn and Avanesian. But anyway, I'm airing out Eddie Hearn here, but apart from Conor Benn, yeah, Eddie Hearn's pretty consistent. He locks onto something and he knuckles down and gets it done. He don't fanny around. And to be fair with mandatories, I've never heard of him actually doing this. That's not true. Because Avanesian isn't Conor Benn's mandatory and Eddie Hearn's ducking. That's a voluntary. But the point is, show me a time when Eddie Hearn's had a fighter, yeah, who's got a mandatory and he tries to play games. He respects the sport enough to say, we're the champion of this belt, let's get on. And to be fair with Team Fury, well, not to be fair, but because they're absolutely out of order, but they're, in so many words, they're telling you, YB, you're right. We do respect the sport, and that's why we're telling you that we're happy to drop this belt and go along with the Ring Magazine and the Lineal. That's what they said. Oops. You're right, YB, we don't want to mess up the mandatory. So I tell you what you can do, YB and all the fans. Keep your mandatory, keep your belt, and we're off. That's what they said. That's what they've said to the fans. Oh, but YB, it's not confirmed yet. They're only saying if. Listen, if they're saying if, it just feels off key for me. Why can't you say, Dillian, we want you. We're going to get this done. Now, I understand, to be fair, in terms of the split things, I'm not sure about the laws, but like Eddie Hearn said, nothing can really get done until the splits are sorted out at the governing body level, which is fair enough. But really, I think them fights, I've always said this, no matter who it is, I always believe fighter pay should be determined on what you bring to the table. And me personally, I think Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury is a 60-40 fight for Fury. Or better yet, probably really a 66-33 fight. Or a 65-35. Somewhere between there. Somewhere between 60-40 and 35. And 65, because that's where it lies. It's nowhere near 50-50. It's nowhere near 55-45 either. It's 60-40 at best. Because when you think about it, people, when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder, that was 60-40. Which, to be fair, that's a fair point. When Tyson Fury challenged Deontay Wilder, it was 60-40. But then again, Tyson Fury was undefeated and had a big, massive name. Dillian Whyte's been beat by a whole bag of man. He's been knocked out cold by a whole bag of man as well. So, I'm sorry, but you can't put Dillian Whyte in the same league. So on that basis, I think probably it is 35-65. I think that's fair. And like I said, I'd find it hard to argue more than 35-65 on the basis that Tyson Fury only got 60-40 after his return. And but bear in mind, people, he'd beaten Klitschko after, if that makes sense. That was his last big win. Who's Dillian Whyte's last big win? It's not a 42-year-old Klitschko, is it? It's Povetkin. It shot Vetkin. So maybe Team Dillian. I'm just not sure who's being unrealistic though. Maybe, well, there's a small chance that I'm pretty sure Team Fury aren't going to come along and say, Team Fury, I'm hearing they're trying to go for 25. Now I'm sorry, I'm fair as you've heard. I'd never say Dillian Whyte's the favourite. And again, I don't even think Dillian Whyte's a 60-40 fight based on history, but it's not a 25%. That's not what it is. It's going to be, and that's the problem you see with these numbers, because the minute you go down to 33 and 66, that's basically double. Can you sit there and say 33 and 66, yeah? That basically implies that Tyson Fury is worth twice as much as Dillian Whyte. I struggle with that. I don't think that's true either. So it's a very difficult line, because the next step's like 60-40 kind of thing. I mean, so yeah, either way. I mean, I'm just not shocked no more. And that's what I told you. I'm trying to get out of this game. I swear down. If I had another channel that could pay some bills, I'd be out of here. Because this stuff's just funny style. I feel that I want to pop in, roast some dudes, and pop out. I'm not here for this long thing, being here all day. Yeah? Just gassing the airwaves up with these goofy, funny style dudes. Yeah? Super duper funny style, these man.